Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Stanley, and we're here to talk about books. So today's video is going to be my January TBR, and much like recent months, it's going to be a bit different from usual because I have pre-selected in a way, or other people have pre-selected my January TBR, because I'm going to read all the books that I got for my birthday and for Christmas. Here we are at the tea drawers once again. What do the dice have in store today? 4 and 12 is 16. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Which is green and white, pear and jasmine. Sounds excellent. Oh, there's lots of it too. Some of these drawers are getting a bit light on tea. These are quite big leaves as well, so they're less likely to come out of the spout. Quite a small teapot, so we don't want to go overboard. Good old past me has already boiled the kettle. Excellent. Green and white, pear and jasmine. Yum. So I have an exciting bag which my friend Juliet bought me for Christmas. Too many books. I think what you mean is not enough shelves. Can't quite see that because the books are filling the bag too much for you to be able to read it. But there you go. So that's where I'm going to be pulling out my January TBR from. So first of all, I have The Garden of Evening Mists by Tan Tuan Eng, which I have read before. So this is not in my standard January TBR. This is going to be my Reviews Revisited book that I'm going to read for early next year, where I pick a book that I've read before, but I don't really remember. And then I read it and compare my thoughts now to my original review from whenever I first read it. So that's going to be coming up on Reviews Revisited early in 2026. And that was from my parents. I gave my parents a selection of 8 or 10 books that I wanted, and then they picked 2 for my birthday and 2 for Christmas. One of which was eligible, which was a previous or a current, in fact, Reviews Revisited book. So that will be coming up on the channel as well, but it's not in the bag because I've already been reading it. Next up, they got me The Animals in That Country by Laura Jean McKay. And this is a Herkyard book, hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, which is going to finish off my Animals Are Better square, because I'm hoping animals in the title, but it's got to be specifically farm animals. And also it's going to fulfill my continent square of Australasia, because it is set in Australia. I believe it's speculative. Hard-drinking, foul-mouthed Grandma Jean has never been good at getting on with other humans, apart from her granddaughter Kimberly. Instead, she surrounds herself with animals, working as a guide in an outback wildlife park. Oh, that doesn't sound like farm. Uh-oh, could be problematic. A strange pandemic begins to sweep the country. Victims begin to understand the language of animals. Sounds really interesting anyway, so hopefully it'll be good regardless of whether it fits the prompt or not. Might have to find another farm animals book, but we'll see. And the other one they bought me from the list is Alibi by Sharon Shin. And this was on the list, and my dad was keen for me to read it because Sharon Shin is a favourite author of mine and also of my parents, because I introduced them to her. And this is her most recent book. It's very different to her normal stuff. She normally writes kind of fantasy with romance elements. And this, I think, is sci-fi. There's a couple, one of them suffering from a fatal degenerative disease. But the woman is also strongly attracted to the head of security for the household. And then no, I don't know. Anyway, someone turns up dead. Murder mystery. But I think it's also sci-fi, potentially. There's kind of like a sci-fi element to the to the cover, definitely, and I think I read that it was sci-fi. So I'm going to be interested to read that, because it doesn't actually sound like my kind of thing, but I do really like Sharon Shin, so that's coming up on the pile, even though it doesn't fulfill any of my reading challenge prompts. But, you know, sometimes that's fine. So next up, my brother goes his own way, shall we say. He did not want to, well, he had already bought my Christmas presents when he found out that I wanted to ideally fulfill HurtKid prompts, and sadly they didn't fulfill any of the prompts, the ones that he bought me. But that's fine, because I like seeing what he comes up with. He keeps a list of books that he picks from to buy me, and I'm always happy to find out what he selected. Although, wasn't overly happy when I opened this, I have to admit, because the first one he picked was The Book of Elsewhere by Keanu Reeves and China Miéville, which you would think would be a top choice for me, because I love Keanu Reeves and I love China Miéville, one of my favourite authors, really fantastic. Haven't heard good things about this. I actually started trying to listen to the audiobook when I first heard that this was a thing, and didn't get on very well with it, I'm afraid. So not sure about this one. It might go on the read it or yeet it pile, where I give books 50 pages to hook me, and if they don't, Stanley yeets them off camera and often takes out the tripod. So that will probably be coming up in a read it or yeet it episode early in the new year, rather than my standard TBR pile. But you never know, might be much better when I read it in physical form. Could happen. And the other one he bought me, which is another one that sounds exactly up my street, is The Square of Sevens by Laura Shepherd Robinson, which is about a daughter of a fortune teller who it's in Georgian splendor of Bath. Her fortune telling proves a delight to high society, but she is trying to find out who her mother was. It's mysteries taking her across the country, and possibly a romance. I don't know. We'll find out. But Georgian definitely fits with me. Fortune telling, quite a big fan of stuff to do with that. So hopefully that'll be a good one too. And then Dave, I did give him a list of, rather than a list of books, I gave him a list of all my remaining HurtKid prompts that I needed to fill, and challenged him to find books that fit them, ideally more than one prompt per book. And he did pretty well, although I have to admit, since I gave him the prompts, I've actually filled a few of them along the way during the period in between. So, but you know, it's still good. So, well, I'm not so sure about this one, because he bought me Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang, which a lot of YouTubers that I like, booktubers, have gone really bananas over this book, and said that it's one of the best books they've read this year. I think it's going to come up on quite a few top 10 of 25 lists for people that I watch. But then there's also other booktubers that I like who've said that it was terrible and they hated it. So I'm a little bit nervous about this. I also had The Sword of Kaigan by the same author has been on and off my TBR list for many times, because a lot of people say that's amazing and a lot of other people say it's terrible. So I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I also, unfortunately, watched a spoiler review, so I do know most of what happens in this book, so a little bit nervous about that too. But I am also intrigued, but I think this might go on the read it or yeet it pile as well, because I'm not actually that keen to read it. But it is hopefully going to fulfill Q's recommendations. Q is the creator of HurtKid, and one of the squares is you have to read 3 of the books that she has recommended in her videos. I think it was also published in 2023, but I'm not going to use it for that. I'll probably use it for my personal challenge of completing multiple read it or yeet it books, and we'll see. Maybe I'll love it. We'll find out. So next up was Son of Sin by Omar Saka, which is definitely fulfilling the Arabic Heritage Month prompt. Dave also says that it should fulfill the bisexual protagonist prompt, which is an interesting combo, but I have now fulfilled that since with red, white and royal blue, so I don't need one for that. But I do need the Arabic Heritage Month. This is about an estranged father, abused and abusive mother, army of relatives, tapestry of violence stretching between Turkey, Lebanon, and Western Sydney. This is the legacy left to Jamal Smith, a young queer Muslim trying to escape a past in which memory and rumour trace ugly shapes in the dark. That sounds pretty grim. I'm not going to lie. It does sound pretty grim. But, you know, a queer Muslim story also sounds very interesting, but it might be pretty sad. I don't know. So we'll find out with that one. And then his last pick was to find one with Earth in the title and also published in 2023. And he picked the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, which I don't need to fulfill the Earth in the title for the Avatar Square because I'm currently listening to an audiobook called Heaven and Earth, which is going to fulfill that. But 2023, I still need something for. I still need some BIPOC authors. I need to fulfill Black Heritage Month, so it'll fit. As long as I like it, it'll fit a few, depending on what I decide to use it for. 1972, workers in Pennsylvania were digging foundations for new development, and they found a skeleton at the bottom of a well. Okay, that is not what I thought this was about at all. In 1925, there is a couple running the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. And they're trying to protect a deaf boy from their community, overlapping stories, deepening connections. Sounds more interesting than I thought it was going to, which I feel a bit bad about. But yes, so there you go. That's the last one on the stack. So that is quite a stack for me to get through in January. As you may or may not know, Stanley and I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Meditations on Being Amazing, One Bear's Guide to Acknowledging Your Own Worth. And it's all about building a better relationship with yourself, because Stanley knows you're amazing and he wants you to know you're amazing too. So it's part memoir with stories from Stanley's life and also contributions from those who know and love Stanley outside our immediate household. Part self-help book with lessons from life about treating yourself as a friend or dealing with difficult parts of your life. Meditation guide, there are meditations in here, and also discovery journals. So there are journal pages where Stanley will give you a prompt for you to reflect on your relationship with yourself and improve it. And there's also beautiful illustrations of Stanley, and this one's got me in it. It's a gorgeous book, really wonderful. Lots of people have said that it's really helped them with thinking better of themselves and treating themselves better, and also improving their relationships with other people in their lives. So, you know, Stanley's very wise. He knows what he's talking about. And the distribution contract with the publisher is coming to a close at the end of January. So it might be going out of print. Don't know what the future of the book is yet, but it may well be going out of print at the end of January. So if you've ever been tempted, or if you're tempted now is the time to buy this beautiful little book all about Stanley's wisdom and ways to improve your relationship with yourself. If you go to my website, aloebear.co.uk, you can find information about where to buy it, and also my novels if you are interested in those. Thank you, and Stanley thanks you too. And I also have another challenge, because anybody who has watched any of my videos knows I love a reading challenge. And Sarah Freshley from Freshly Read Books, who's one of my favourite booktubers, has a TBR game called TBR Spin, where people at the start of the year pick 12 books that they want to prioritise throughout the year. And then she has a spin a wheel of prompts, and once a month there's a live show where she spins the wheel and produces a prompt, and people pick whichever of their books from their pile most fits the prompt. And I really like her videos, and I really like her live shows, and I am one of her Patreon subscribers. So I thought I would join in this year. And I cannot say at the moment which book from the pile is going into my January TBR because the live show isn't until the day this video goes up. So I won't know. But I can show you the pile. Oh, I decided to go for, because it's meant to be getting books off your TBR, the books that have been on my to read shelf the longest. So I went with all of the remaining books that I obtained pre-2025, plus a few extras from that I obtained at the start of 2025. So, oh, can I actually do this? It's 12 books. It's quite a stack. So there's the stack. So you can see what's going to potentially come up in TBR Spin. So this will be once a month throughout 2026. I will hopefully be reading one of these books in addition to everything else. Oh, it's quite ambitious, but you know. Ah! Yeah, I saw that coming. Anyway. Oh, that's pretty much it for today's video. And there is my stack for January, though, as I said, a couple of these are going into Read It or Yeet It or Reviews Revisited, so they probably won't all be in my January wrap-up. Anyway, so since this is my last video of 2025, I hope you've all had a fantastic reading year. I know I have. Ridiculous number of books I've got through this year. I will be talking about that in my December wrap-up next week. And I hope you are having an excellent festive period if you celebrate something during the festive period. And a happy new year for 2026. I think it's going to be an exciting one for me and for my reading journey. And Stanley wishes you a happy new year as well. Please do give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to enjoy more content from me and Stanley and see my reactions to all of those books across the various videos that I will be filming shortly. And I'll see you again in the new year. Bye for now.